Welcome into the Get to the Top podcast. I'm your host, Kyle Horn, here with my co-host, Kevin Myrtle, a.k.a. Myrtle. How you doing today, Myrtle?
Doing great, buddy. You?
I'm doing pretty good. We got a lot to talk about, but how'd your weekend go, Myrtle?
Oh, it went pretty good, honestly. It wasn't too bad. Good run at Natural Bridge, but nothing too crazy.
I got you. We'll get into Natural Bridge results here on a local rundown. I guess not a rundown, local results rundown, I guess. But with that being said, we're gonna quit hitting the table. We're gonna start out reviewing what happened this weekend. I think we mentioned on Thursday when we recorded. Also, we're back on the Monday episodes.
Yeah,
we're back. No go-kart racing for us. We didn't get full-time rides anywhere. So back on Monday, back with the regular scheduled Monday. And before I get into anything, need to thank S&S, seal coating, driveway repair. Any type of your driveway needs, please give them a shout out. J. Edward Groom with Long and Foster, Smith Farm Equipment and Repair. So all those people that help us out, check them out. And if you'd like to be interested in coming on, like I said last week, we're gonna try to get some merch out. And if you help or if you donate, if you're a sponsor, we're going to try to get you a free merch item of your choice, whether it be a hat, shirt, sweatshirt, whatever we end up doing. So we're going to try to get you one of those free items if you sponsored us, want to sponsor us, or just want to help out. All of it goes a long way. I mean, all this setup, it's all come from, except for the computer, but it's all come from y'all's help. So appreciate that. Appreciate our sponsors. So be sure to check the ones that have sponsored us out. Check them out, and if you want to hop on, just email us, message us. If you got me and Myrtle's information, message us. So with that being said, I think last week we ended up hitting on the World of Outlaws on Thursday because they had a race Wednesday, I believe. Brian Shirley won that. Then Thursday got rained out, but we come back to Friday and we had previewed this. But Brian Shirley goes back to back.
Yeah, Brian Shirley hit a little hot streak this weekend, it seems like.
Yeah, he won the Hawkeye 100 opener over Ryan Gusson, Tyler Bruning, Bobby Pierce, Kate Dillard, Kyle Bronson, Chris Simpson, Tristan Chamberlain, Shannon Babb, and Max McLaughlin. He was. Yep. So yeah, he started off the weekend hot, of course, winning on Wednesday. Then he goes back to it on Friday. Thursday got rained out. And then you got to go back, we hop to the big show, the 20,000 to win on Saturday, the Hawkeye 100. And Bobby Pierce had a flat, and guess who's there to capitalize on it?
Mr. Brian Shirley.
Brian Shirley. He won that over Nick Hoffman, Brandon Shepard, Ryan Gusson, good weekend for him. Chris Simpson, Cody Overton, good run for him. Tyler Bruning, Kyle Bronson, Kate Dillard, and Jason Fager. Bobby Pierce, it says here on Dirt on Dirt, reclaiming control for good when a mid-race leader, Bobby Pierce, slowed with a shredded right rear. So Shirley 3 in a row, bringing home it'd be a $40,000 weekend for Mr. Brian Shirley. So nothing to bat an eye about. So that's the World of Outlaws rundown. Let's give the points update here before we get into anything else. I know Nick Hoffman had a good run. I know Pierce has been hot, but Nick Hoffman second place in the big one, so maybe that helps his points. Brandon Shepard still leads. This is after the Hawkeye 100. Brandon Shepard still leads Nick Hoffman by about 62 points, 72, 62, somewhere in there points. Bobby Pierce is closing back in. He is only 12 points behind Nick Hoffman.
Oof.
So it's getting close. Brandon Shepard, I wouldn't say he struggled, but third. I guess, never mind. I thought it. But still, I mean, you haven't seen those wins that we're accustomed to seeing out of Brandon Shepard. So I think this is, if it doesn't come down between Bobby Pierce and Brandon Shepard, it's going to be a 3-car battle with Nick Hoffman.
At World Finals, and that's gonna make World Finals that much better.
And we're gonna try to. We've been playing, and we're gonna try to get down there for the World Finals. So that'll be a good opportunity. We might not have an on-podcast interview, but we'll have a bunch of interviews hopefully, and they'll be pretty good interviews. It'll be a weekend that me and Myrtle are actually free and available, and we got YouTube interviews. We'll have them back on the podcast too. So it'll be stuff we can.
We can actually film this week versus me just trying to hold the phone and talk to people. So.
Yeah. So with that being said, the big storyline of the weekend is the Topless 100. Unless I'm missing anything here on. Oh yeah, Mid-East Supers on Friday. Ben Watkins.
Shrine race.
Yep. So Ben Watkins, third straight Shrine race for him. He won that over Carson Brown, Jeff Smith, Anthony Sanders, and Jordan Kohler. So
surprised Jordan won at the Topless.
Oh yeah, that's right. But I guess that's closer to home for them.
A lot.
I mean, way closer.
A lot closer to home.
So yeah, he probably said, "Oh yeah, Ricky Thornton, you go run that, and we'll stay here. We'll go try to win 4,000 somewhere a lot closer to home. That doesn't somewhere that doesn't cost 4,000 to go to."
No kidding.
So with that being said, Ricky Thornton Jr. took the opening prelim night in the Topless. He took that win over Ricky Thornton Jr., Dale McDowell, Tim McCready, Mike Marler, Hudson O'Neill, Scott Kriegler, Devin Moran, Ethan Dotson, Garrett Albertson, and Tyler Stevens. Anything you got on the prelim night there, Myrtle?
No, I don't watch prelim. I just watch Saturday nights.
All right, so I was able to catch you in the Saturday nights, and the first win for Tim McCready in the Rocket 1 house car. He got it done. You could see the excitement on him finally winning one, breaking through. He won it over Jonathan Davenport, Garrett Albertson, Ethan Dotson, RTJ coming back from a flat, Hudson O'Neill, Carson Ferguson, Boom Briggs. Carson Ferguson, good run.
Yes,
interview on the podcast. Dale McDowell and Devin Moran ran out your top 10. What you got, Myrtle?
It's especially with I did hear Friday night they were talking that passing was at a premium. Like it was very hard to pass Friday night, and then Jonathan Davenport, if he didn't get a hard charger, I don't know who else did, but he gained 13 spots to finish second.
What does dirt on dirt have? They usually have on the move driver runner up. Jonathan Davenport started 15th and finished second.
Yeah, I mean he was coming throughout the field. I mean there was a lot of good battling all night, but there was one hell of a hole getting into one. Like it was damn near upsetting cars.
Ethan Dotson, I'm looking at it now. 4th place run for Ethan Dotson. Really good run there.
I wonder if he's still in Barry Wright.
I don't know. We did talk about this last week, didn't we? That Dennis Harper Jr. is in the Barry Wright. I think we talked about it because they ran Wednesday. So yeah, but still, good week. Merle was saying he ended up having a good weekend for them. I know the last person that, unless somebody that kind of did it in between, more of a regional level, the last person to drive no, that was a Masterbuilt. Hudson O'Neill ran a Masterbuilt house car for a little while in the Supers before he got back hooked up with. I guess it'd be he went to Rocket after that. There's something he did in between. I'm not really sure. But with that being said, any other notes you got on the Topless 100? I don't mean to interrupt before you even said anything, but always a good weekend. I mean, I think it's kind of cool to watch the Topless race.
It feels like the cars, like what I was watching, the cars looked like they had so much more grip, like all the air is hitting the spooler.
Yeah.
Like they were running it balls deep in there, like it was wild.
It'd be interesting to see them run that race with the roof on, see if it makes a difference. But it's kind of awkward for McCready. I saw him get out. He was so excited. Finally winning Rocket 1. He went to beat on the roof and it wasn't there. And so he didn't know what to do. He just kind of got up and just started clapping his hands, I guess. But I know he wanted to get out and beat on the roof. I mean, they set it on flow. Like, oh, no roof to beat on. He wanted to get out and beat on the roof, and it wasn't there. So
I'm impressed that Ricky Thornton was able to come back from the rear from a flat back up to fifth.
I don't think we mentioned. Did we mention that? No.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, RTJ had a flat, and like Marlo said, he come up to what was it, fifth?
Yeah. He had a lap about halfway because they put a 4 back on it. They were saying.
So it looks like to me in the new ride, RTJ's he hadn't had the best of luck on some things, but he's really just picking back up where he left off. I mean, it's not really.
He's got a great crew chief behind him too right now.
Yeah, Madden still crew chiefing on that, and obviously there is Madden made me think about it, but there is kind of the elephant in the room. Myrtle made a YouTube post about it, but the passing of Scott Bloomquist. We'll dive into that here not towards the end of the episode, but we'll give our rundown and dive into that a little bit. But like Myrtle said, thoughts and prayers to the Bloomquist family. Liked him or hated him, probably one of the best to ever do it, if not the best. So, but we'll dive into that here in a little bit. Let's head into. We talked about World of Outlaws, Brian Shirley sweeping the weekend. Before we get into our local rundown, we do have the Ultimate Southeast ran at Sumter, South Carolina this week. Steve Bantle took the win over Anthony Sanders, Ethan Wilson, brother Dalton Wilson, Christian Thomas, Austin Mintz, Carson Brown, Ben Watkins, who came off the win at the Shrine race, and Gary Payton, Willie Milliken, and Tony Ayers are your top 10 in the Ultimate Southeast race. Any big names that I see something might have happened?
I mean, that's a good run for Big A. Two podium finishes.
Yeah.
We really heard a lot out of Big A here lately. It's pretty good for him.
And it says on the move, Christian Thomas of Wake Forest, North Carolina, started 22nd and finished 4th.
Ooh, yeah, it is on the move.
I've been to Sumter. For Sumter, passing that many cars, you're moving and you got something going on, right?
Yeah, passing is definitely a premium at Sumter.
Yeah,
been there twice, I think.
I've been there. I've been there 3 times, I believe, and most of the time I've seen it's you pass on the restart, and then
that's it.
I mean, you might be the best car out there, but follow the leader. I mean, that's about all it's been.
That track's definitely weird. I'm pretty sure that place ain't got no wall on the backstretch. If I'm not mistaken.
The turns don't.
Oh, the turns, yeah.
1 and 2 and 3 and 4. I don't know about the backstretch. I can't exactly remember.
I thought it had like a little shelf.
I think you're right. I know it's kind of like, I guess it'd be kind of like Elkins then. It's not like
to me, it's
Elkins.
more like a D-shaped oval, like the backstretch.
It's not. It doesn't race like Elkins, but it's kind of. I know for a fact because the team I work for, we almost sent her over one of the turns. So, I think it was this year we actually did it. So, I know for a fact it doesn't have any walls on the. And it's not something that's like it's not like Elkins. Like if you send it over, then you're just try to stay on the track or whatever. Yeah, it's sketchy if you go off there. It's even worse than our home track, Natural Bridge 3 and 4. So,
3 and 4 sketchy.
yeah, I think it's worse. I think they should probably consider putting something there or something. But anyways, we're gonna get into what was the other thing we need to talk about? I done lost my spot. I guess it'd be our local run. We got Hunt the Front. It would have been Saturday. But it rained out and got pushed to Sunday. So props to them for still running the race.
Shane Clanton won it.
Shane Clanton won over Ashton Winger, Joseph Joyner, Brandon Overton, Austin Horton, Dylan Knowles, Dalton Cook, Hayden Cowan, Derek Stewart, and Corey. I guess it's Corey Roulette. I don't know. All right, Myrtle, what you got? Unless it's your series.
I did not watch the race, but I did see where Clanton came in on an open trailer during the hurricane they had come down through there. I seen videos of the rain. It was blowing car covers off, blowing car covers across the road. Like, y'all thought y'all had it bad at Saluda? I think they had it worse.
Yeah, that's something we haven't mentioned yet. But yeah, I was at Saluda this weekend, and yeah. Let's just say I didn't have anything dry on me by the end of the night. Well, until I changed clothes,
But I'm glad to see Clanton get a win with the Hunt the Front Tour.
he's kind of stepped back. He's really helping out on the
Capital.
on the Capital race cars. But he is ran a few races this year, kind of here and there. He's got 2 wins, and went at the. You can see. I'm looking at a picture of him right now. He's pretty excited. Myrtle, I don't know if you could do this, but maybe insert that picture into the YouTube.
I can try to.
I know Myrtle's the editor. He does the thing, so maybe he can get this picture in there or something. I don't know. But if he does, Zachary Washington Simple Moments Photography photo credit, so we don't get any problems with copyright or anything like that. But if not, check it out on Dirt on Dirt. You can tell how excited he is. But yeah, second win of the year.
I just see where he was like picking Ashton Winger up in victory lane.
Oh, he was?
Yeah.
Why?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I don't ask questions. I just
So the points chase is pretty close in this as well. I don't know how their points break down, but It is Brandon Overton leading Sam Seawright by only 80-some points, maybe 70-some. I'm not going to do the math right here. That'd just be dry space in the podcast. If I said, I mean, it's not easy numbers that I can add up. It's random numbers. So it looks like off the eye test, it's like 80-some points. So 42 cars. And then on the move was Austin Horton of Whistleburg, Georgia, started, or Whitesburg, Georgia, started 17th and finished 5th. And Dalton Cook also started 19th and finished 7th. You got anything else, Myrtle?
I was going to get you a closer rundown on points.
You're going to do the math?
84 points.
84, all right, so my eyeball test math was close.
And then Ashton Winger's 20 points behind him.
Okay, so it's another tight points battle. Let's we didn't even mention the Luke Schwall points, so that is going to be. I know Ricky Thornton's leading, so RTJ leads Devin Moran. He's got a pretty good margin there. I think it's 200-some points on that one.
245 points.
Yeah, and then Davenport though is closing in on second. He's only 5 behind Devin Moran. And then McCready jumps. I think he jumped up a spot this weekend over Hudson O'Neill.
I think so, yeah, because Hudson was in the top 4.
So yeah, he's jumped up a spot. That puts McCready. I guess that would put McCready into the chase or whatever they do. I don't know how they're doing it this year.
I think they're doing right now is like the top 10, and then they go to 8, and then 4 or something like that. Like they're breaking it down slowly. I think.
Okay, so your top 10, if that's the case, your top 10 right now are RTJ, Devin Moran, Johnson. We'll have to research that. We'll get an update on that Thursday on how the points deal is going to work.
I'm just basing it off of Max Blair is 1,300 behind, and Drake Troutman in 11th is 1,600 behind. That's 300 points to get.
Well, it also depends on how they do their points, because 300 could be like
one race.
Like one race, you could get 300 points for
10.
Like if Drake Troutman, or no, if Max Blair drops out of the race and Troutman finishes like 10th, then Max Blair finishes 26th and he finishes 10th. That could be 300 points difference. Yeah, you don't know how they run their points. But with that being said, if it is, we'll have to figure out how exactly the points are. We'll have an update on that next week, unless Myrtle can pull something up real quick. But if it is 8, it would be. I'll give you a full top 10 rundown. It's RTJ, Devin Moran, Jonathan Davenport, Tim McCready, Hudson O'Neill, Garrett Albertson, Mike Marler, Dalton Wilson, Jimmy Owens, and Max Blair. And we'll get an actual update. Instead of trying to make an update, we'll get an actual update, and we'll be right back on the pod. We'll just cut this into. I mean, we figured out how to do this now, so we'll cut this into it. We'll get a points update, and we'll see how we're going to run it. So we'll be right back.
Well, guys, I'm Myrtle from Get Top Podcast. I found out last night that we are doing a giveaway coming up. We have gift cards to the Bistro in Stanton and the Palms in Lexington. Just be on the lookout for those on the Facebook. Let's get right back to it.
All right, we're back on the Get Top Podcast. We got a points update. Myrtle, run it down.
Right now they're in the top 12.
Well, you got to do the whole format. I'll run the format down.
Run the format down then.
All right, so we got to do the format. So, I'm not going to read all this nonchalance, like making it a good article stuff. They start the year out, then they go to the Show Me 100. So they go to speed weeks, all through the first parts of the races, before they really get into crown jewel racing, other than like other series crown jewels. So then they go to the Show Me, first crown jewel, they cut to 15. Top 15, that's your points. Then they're getting ready to come up, and so they're gonna go cut 15 to 12 to 8 to the 4, which would be Eldora, the finale, the World Championship. But right now we had a cut of 15 at the Show Me. Excuse me. We had a cut of 15 at the Show Me, and now we are researching this, and come to find out, this coming weekend, we'll preview it more on Thursday, but this coming weekend is a cut. It's a cut weekend at Port Royal. So
right now we're in the round of 12, but this coming up weekend at Port Royal will be cut off to round of 8.
So Myrtle, give us a rundown on the points.
From 12th, well, we'll do 13th because it's a tight battle. 13th right now in points is Clay Harris, and he's only trailing behind Ross Robinson.
So wait, you said, hang on, I just want to catch you on one thing. You said, so it'd be the round of, they're in the 15 right now, right?
No, that's right. They're in the 12 going to 8.
So they're in the, is that, are they? Is this, all right.
You're looking at it right there.
All right, so they cut the 15 at the show me. So the Diamond 17 Anthem Diamond Nationals. What's that race, Myrtle?
Win or what?
No, what is that race?
It's just another crown jewel with Lucas Oil Speedway. It's
Is
like
it?
a 15,000 to win.
That doesn't sound right to me. But okay, it is 12 to 8. So
Okay, so 12th right now currently is. Load back up. 12th right now currently is Ross Robinson. 11th is Drake Troutman. 10th, Max Blair. 9th, Jimmy Owens. 8th is Dalton Wilson. And Dalton Wilson and Jimmy Owens have about a 200-point gap right now.
yeah, it'd be 195 if my
Calculation.
eyeball math is correct.
And then it's Mike Marler, Garrett Alverson, Hudson O'Neal, Tim McCready, Jonathan Davenport, Deb Moran, and Ricky Thornton Jr.
So we're going to cut to 8 after Port Royal this weekend. Pretty much the cut line for this weekend, I guess. So you just have to, Dalton wants to just have a solid weekend, I guess, and he's probably safe. That would be
all
your
you
cut.
gotta beat is Jimmy Owens, really.
Yeah. So your cut would be, after that would be RTJ, Devin Moran, Jonathan Davenport, Tim McCready, Hudson O'Neal, Garrett Alverson, Mike Marler, and then Dalton Wilson would be on your cut. So we haven't found out if they reset the points, so we're going to kind of try to see what happens after.
I don't really know.
I can't really find anything on that, and we weren't paying enough attention to it throughout the year to know. But they do also do bonuses, so each round of elimination, so for the top 15, so the top 15, if you made the top 15 cut, you got a bonus. It goes 2,500, 1,500, 1,500, 1,500, 1,500 to 5th, then 1,000 all the way till 10th, then 500 all the way to 15th. So if you made the top 15, you got a bonus. And now if you made the top 12, which they're in right now, so all these top 12 drivers, they got this bonus of 5,000 for first.
Sure. Nice little bonus.
Yeah, 5,000 for first. Then it went 1,000 all the way to everybody else got 1,000. So 5,000 for first, everybody else got 1,000. And then coming up here on the 8th, it's $7,500 on the line this weekend for the points cut, which just seems like it's going straight to Ricky Thornton.
Yeah.
But then the rest get $1,500. So if you're a guy on the cut line, that's a difference of no
money,
no bonus money, or $1,500. So and that buys a couple
Set
set
aside.
tires. Yeah. So then you got the big four. If you make the final four, the cut is 10,000. And then the rest of the other three drivers. So the guy leading the points going into the final four. So if RTJ was still leading the points going into the final four, the last weekend of the race, they're going to hand him a $10,000 check, and they're going to hand the other three guys a $2,000 check. And then the whole thing will be decided in Eldora.
Oh, I thought they cut off a couple weeks earlier. When's it cut off? It's right there. Like
They cut off at the Pittsburgher, so then we'll have to go look at the schedule.
Yeah, they're not running just Eldora this year. Like, it's not going to be a one-race deal where...
Well, then I hope they reset the points then. I really like the reset, but you can't just do it off of one
So
race.
basically, if the cutoff's Pittsburgh, it's going to be East Bay and Eldora.
That's right, they do go back to East Bay for the
They do go
shutdown.
back to East Bay, so it'd be
That'd be
East Bay
something
and
cool
Eldora.
to see.
I wish I had the money and the time to go to East Bay.
Yeah, so they do it. They have 3 races. So the Pittsburgher, you got your cut. They'll run the Pittsburgher, and then you have your cut line. You'll know your final 4 going into 3 races at East Bay. Hopefully the weather, like good weather for those 4 races. You know your cut going, and then the following week, you'll go to Eldora, and you'll decide it all.
Hopefully, it won't be as cold this year to Eldora like it was last year. So,
yeah.
That was cold.
With that being said, I think we finally got a breakdown on the points. Like we said, so in this next round, it's going to be Port Royal. The 2 races at Port Royal. They got a Portsmouth race the following week for $15,000. Then they go to the Tyler County, what are they called? The Hillbilly 100.
Yeah.
But the rain has gotten that from the last couple of years, I believe. Then you got the Knoxville Nationals, and then you go to Brownstown. That seems like a big race. I'm sure they call it something. Then you got Atomic, and then Pittsburgh will be your last race for that. So
a lot of good races through there.
Yeah, a lot of good races.
Different racetracks.
Yep, and it seems like we got a lot of Lucas Oil races. It's not like you can have 3 weeks off at a time. I think the biggest gap they're going to have is a couple weekends off because they got Eldora. Eldora's in between the Hillbilly 100 and the
yeah, for the World.
Huh?
For the World.
Yeah, so they'll have off for the World. Then they head straight back into competition with the Knoxville National. So. Okay. Got a text message coming through. So with that being said, I guess it leads us into our local rundown, Myrtle.
Yeah, I think it does. You want to start it?
Yeah, go ahead and knock us off. I'll let you do the Natty B. I know that's your thing. We do have to give a shout out to somebody at Natty B. But Trevor Feathers took the win at Winchester. Let me backtrack. One of our other ones is the modified, probably the bigger one, Modified Mafia 3,000 to win and 5,000 to win Steel Block Bandits. I was there this weekend. Ended up raining out. Got through the heat races, and then it just unloaded. It didn't stop raining. I know it didn't stop raining till we left the track, and then going down the road, so it was still raining a good little bit. So that ended up raining out. They got through the heat races, they got through qualifying and all that, hot laps, but then they were forced to make the call to cancel. Once they got to, it just kept pouring. It sprinkled there for a little bit before the heat races, and we were kind of thinking like, oh, well, better get the car covers out and stuff like that. So, but then it gave us a break, and then we thought it might move around. We ran the heat. That's when they ran the heat races for the modifieds and the late models. And then as soon as the late models and modifieds pulled in, and they were getting ready to do a few support class races, that's when it just
poured.
Unloaded. So with that being said, that got canceled or ended up getting rained out. And then that goes into Winchester. Is there anything else that we mentioned locally besides that you can think of, Myrtle? I'm looking at the schedule.
Oh, we mentioned Beckley, but they ended up getting rained out too.
Okay, so Beckley rained out. I know I'll look that up. I know the Modified Mafia, they were there somewhere on Friday.
Yeah, they were at Dixieland Friday.
Do you know who won that?
I don't know who won it. I know who finished second, though. I can look it up.
I'll look it up. You give your rundown on Natty B. But before that, Bill B. Shout out to Billy Beachler taking the crate win. I got to give him a shout out. Good run for him. I mean, I wasn't there to watch it or see it, but congratulations to Billy Beachler. I think it's his second win on the year. He won one at Elkins earlier this year, but congrats to Bill B. We had him on the podcast a few episodes ago. If you haven't listened to that or heard it, good interview, go check it out. Myrtle, take it away.
And second was David Watts. Third, Bryson Fulton. Fourth, Sean Walker. Really good run for him. Fifth, Tyler Hoy. Sixth, BJ Mongold. Seventh, Derek Ayers. Eighth, Spencer Apple from Reedsville, North Carolina. Ninth was Ronnie Martin Jr. And 10th was Zach Lowe. But a lot of the good drivers that was running up front toward the beginning of the race, there ended up being a pile-up on the front stretch. That seems like it's been a reoccurring situation, pile-up on the front stretch. But there was also 20 cars starting on a weekly show, which is also happening again. And then in the sportsman race as well, there was 23 starters. There's been a high car count here lately with the crates and sportsmen.
Yeah. Anything else you want to add on Natural Bridge, Myrtle?
No, I think I covered it. Unless you got something.
No, I wasn't there. Just shout out to Bill B. Good run. But Austin Holcomb won the race at Dixieland.
Second was tied in order.
Okay.
See if I can pull it up on Race Basket.
I just pulled up the winner on Facebook real quick, but yeah, Austin Holcomb won. See, maybe I could get results, but no, I don't.
Here it is.
But then not Mike winner, but Austin Holcomb was also the fast qualifier going into Saluda.
I got a top 10 right here.
Go ahead, run it down, bro.
Austin Holcomb won, tied in order second. Michael Antebelli third. Ryan Ayers fourth. Ray Cable
Yeah, it's
fifth. Sixth, Michael Leach. Seventh, Russell Irwin. Eighth, Slade Parsons. Ninth, Joey Povoli. And 10th, Brett Hamilton.
All right, so there's your Modified Mafia rundown. I know it's not really a local race, but kind of a more local series.
Yeah.
So with that being said, we got Winchester 4000 Lee Schultz Memorial. Trevor Feathers ended up winning over James Leitcher, another limited guy. Keith Jackson, Mike Carter, Jonathan Tate. I think most of these guys are limited, to be honest, at least in the top 10. Keith Jackson, I know he's a super. Michael Carter, Jonathan DeHaven, Gerald Davis, Justin Dillman, Scott Sweeney, Craig Parmel, and Rob Shamir. I guess that's how you say his last name. But so yeah, Trevor Feathers took the win. Surprising not to see Kyle Hardy there.
Yeah, I don't know where he was racing. Did you see him racing at all this weekend?
I didn't hear anything out of him unless he had planned on going to the All Stars race or something that got rained out.
Yeah, that's the whole we forgot to mention. All Stars ended up getting rained out this weekend.
Might have just been a vacation week for Kyle Hardy, so kind of weird that he would schedule a vacation on a Winchester race where he's been dominating. But yeah, Trevor Feathers took the win there. Says hometown driver Trevor Feathers earned 4,000 capturing Lee Schultz Memorial. He took the lead from Keith Jackson on the 9th lap and led the rest of the 40 lap. That's about it. So, anything else on the local rundown?
No, I guess that leads us into Pick'em, right?
Yep, Myrtle's got the results. Go ahead, Myrtle.
It was a draw this week. I picked Dylan Brown at All Stars. They ended up getting rained out. And then I also picked Russell Irwin at the Modified Mafia race at Saluda. It rained out. And your picks were what? Bobby Pierce at What About Loss?
Yep, and Myrtle knows. I don't even remember what was my other one, Myrtle. Kyle Hardy at Winchester.
Yeah.
Trevor Feathers won. So,
either Rain won this weekend for us or somebody else did. Rain won for me, both of them.
So do you want to do a $20 on the line, pick 'em, and we'll push it to Thursday. If not, it'd be $30 on the line. Castrol Flow Night in America.
I can do that. I can do that.
Let's do pull up Castrol. We do have a Castrol race coming up here. What is it? Tomorrow?
No, Wednesday.
Wednesday. All right, Motorville 20,000 to win. Previous winner of the Castrol Flow Night was RTJ. There's the car halfway flipped up. Points going into that is after Fairbury is RTJ leading that over Bobby Pierce by 9 points.
Ooh.
Jason Fager's he's 15 points behind, and Dalton Wilson's a good ways behind. But it's something interesting to see. I think the last 2 weeks have been a draw, so this would be for $30, right? Am I correct?
Should be.
Okay, so then
You let me go first last week. I'll let you go first this week.
okay. Well, let me look up one thing, so I know who my pick'em's going to be then. RTJ.
You're picking RTJ.
Yeah, I'm looking at the results from the Winterville race they had at Lucas Oil earlier this year. We got Drake Troutman won the prelim, and Devin Moran won the prelim, but RTJ won the big one. So give me RTJ, or he won a prelim too. So give me RTJ, and JD won a prelim. Give me RTJ. Yeah, I'll take RTJ. I think he'll be racing in Vegas.
Give me Drake Troutman.
Drake Troutman winning the Flow Night in America. All right.
Second pick. You want to do 2? Oh, we got a good chance.
No, let's just do one race.
Right.
If not, rolls over. It'd be $40 on Thursday, or I guess Monday. But so with that being said, I think that's all we're gonna hit on. Unless you got something else, Myrtle. Oh, Scott Bloomquist. Yeah, we didn't even talk about that. If you hadn't heard, I'm sure you have. Myrtle posted something on YouTube as well. It's all over Facebook. It's been all over my feed. I wonder if it's still recording. All right, we just had the mic fall out, so we're gonna fix that. We'll be right back with Scott Bloomquist. All right, we're back here on the Get the Top podcast. Myrtle posted something on YouTube. If you haven't heard, I'm sure you already have. The passing away of Scott Bloomquist, one of the greatest, probably the Tom Brady of dirt racing. Whatever you want to compare it to, probably one of the greatest in the sport of dirt late model racing. So it's just an unfortunate thing that happened. We won't go into any huge details or anything like that. I mean, there's no need to. I mean, I just cool. It's just no need to go into details. It's unfortunate, no matter how or what happened. A guy that was still racing.
Yeah.
That's the thing that took me the most, is how he was racing a week before prior, and then this happened. So, anything you want to say, Admiral?
Man, it was just heartbreaking. At first, I thought it was a sick joke when I first seen it on Facebook.
I did too, until I saw Bobby Pierce posted it. Now I knew it was probably.
Yeah, I seen it was sick. I thought it was a sick joke, but then I seen Race Ranch and then World of Outlaws, and everybody started to post. I'm like, well,
Yeah.
it's kind of like that was one of those jokes I kind of wish was an actual joke that just somebody had a sick idea. But
Yeah, and I've seen many posts that said a lot of people did have mixed opinions on. So you love or hate him, it's something that's terrible for the sport. And
it's kind of like when Dale died in NASCAR.
yeah,
Love him or hate him.
he might have wrecked you a time or two, but still, he's one of the greatest that ever did it in your certain sport. And
I don't
just
know
something you don't want to.
It's won as many championship titles and many races.
And I was trying to, when the mic came unhooked, I was trying to pull up some stats. And I'm trying to do it carefully so I don't unplug the mic again. And this is just kind of a rough estimate stats. It's not everything like full and dive onto his career. But he had 600 plus victories, 9 national championships between the Lucas Oil and the World of Outlaws. 8 dirt late model dreams. That itself, if he had nothing else in his career, that itself is just impressive.
Yeah.
4 World 100s. He won the Show Me, the Dirt Track World Championship, the Firecracker 100, USA Nationals, the Hillbilly 100, Topless 100, Knoxville Nationals, and a lot more big races.
Speaking of Topless, I was saying when I was watching this weekend, he's the only person to still win it 5 times. He has the most wins in the Topless 100.
Yeah, and I was going through just kind of, I mean, like we said, we didn't make a deep dive into his stats or anything, but the one race I think that me and Myrtle came up together, I mean, of course, they've added new crown jewels since he's been kind of, I wouldn't say post his racing career, but kind of post his prime. They've added new crown jewels and new events, but I sat there and just kind of, like his prime era, the crown jewels they would have, the one I couldn't think of that he hasn't won is the PDC, and that's probably the only thing I could think of that he hasn't won. And I mean, we didn't go through every PDC, but I did find where his best finish was 18th in that, but the amount of cars, the amount of people that go to that race, even finishing or making the races.
Well, that's like the old Dreams. They had 200 plus cars and shit.
Oh yeah, it's. I mean, and that's the races he won. So that just goes and show you, like, I mean, he won the, I guess it's the World 100, one of the Dreams or whatever. He had to go to the tail, and he still won the race. He said,
Once they put me to the tail, it was over.
yeah, he said I would have lapped the field. So it's unfortunate. Everything it's just you lose one of the greats. He was still in his prime and had a lot of races left to win, and he was already inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2002.
Yeah.
He won a ton of races after he was inducted into the Hall of Fame. So that just goes to show you what kind of racer he was and how much he was to the sport. Marlon, you want to say anything?
Yeah, I'm thankful that I had a chance to go to the track world championship. Got to park next to him when I was crewing on Chris Ferguson's, and I ended up getting a chance to meet him and talk to him for a while. Same with a bunch of other people, but I do vaguely remember going to Scott Bloomquist's holler and went in and talked to him for about 20 minutes. Like, that was the first time I met him and be the last.
Yeah, we tried to get, which he's still scheduled to come on the podcast. This kind of things didn't line up today. But Mike Benedum, who runs a Team Zero race car and is pretty close with Dale McDowell, who Merle told me earlier that Shane McDowell's supposed to be taking over the Team Zero race cars.
I believe so.
So, and we've mentioned on the pod how close that Dale McDowell and Mike Benedum are. There's a lot going on. We couldn't get Dale McDowell to come on, but obviously, that'd be a hard interview to get anyways. But we couldn't get him to come on, so the another guy that we know that's probably worked closely with Scott and Dale would probably be Mike Benedum, and he's willing to come on. We just kind of didn't line up the right times yet, so hopefully we'll get him on and we'll get him to say a few words about that stuff. One really cool thing, I know a lot of platforms don't promote other platforms' content, but Flow Racing did a lot of interviews and talked to a lot of people. So be sure to check that out. That is a really good. They interviewed a lot of drivers, a lot of people that were in contact with Scott.
I really feel bad for James Essex during that whole deal. I thought he was going to cry during the whole interview process.
A lot of drivers were kind of upset. They might not have broke down in tears, but you can obviously tell there's some emotions. So a good thing to check out is that on Flow Racing. I think it's like they interviewed a lot of people. They just kind of put it all together.
Flow had a whole thing. It's like an hour, maybe 2 hours long.
So they interviewed a bunch of drivers. I watched the Jonathan Davenport clip today, and that's a cool one to check out. So the whole thing I haven't sat down and watched the whole thing yet. I will, but
I might do that tonight.
Yeah. Be sure to check that out. That's something cool they did. But with that being said, of course, it's unfortunate, but things happen, and I know he wouldn't. I know if Scott was still around, he wouldn't say stop racing because of me.
No, he definitely wouldn't. He'd say keep on racing.
He'd probably be racing. So so it's unfortunate, but as I say, the show must go on. So
you go ahead.
I don't really have anything to say. Go ahead.
I did see where they're having a celebration of life for Scott at the World 100, and it's going to be at Bulls Gap on a Thursday night race. They're having two different ceremonies. One's the World, one's a Bulls Gap. So if y'all are in either area, if you're a fan,
and it's
check it out.
Hometown's Tennessee, so it makes sense. Bulls Gap was kind of
anyone more races outdoor than probably anybody ever has.
Yeah. So be sure to check both of those out. I'm sure they'll be both on some type of platform you can watch, either Flow, Dirt Vision, whatever it may be, Hunt the Front TV, whatever.
Whatever race it is, it'll be on there, I'm sure.
I'm sure it's on something. So check it out. With that being said, I know we don't have an interview today. We kind of ran long because of talking about this and then the other stuff going on. So with that being said, I think we're going to try to get back in the swing of getting some interviews on Thursday throughout the rest of the episodes. Like we said, we're going to try to hit on some local drivers, have Mike Benedum on, maybe get his kind of piece of what he has to say about Scott. And then maybe we'll also hit on some local drivers, but also some local personalities. Some people that did a lot of work within the local schemes of things. Also, something we need we're willing to do is to submit some. I can't talk. Submit some questions on the Facebook Messenger. Give it to Myrtle. Give it to me. We'll answer them. We'll give you a shout out. And we'd answer some questions. Like if you gave us a question on who our, like you just randomly asked who our top 5 drivers are right now. You submitted that question. We'll put that in the podcast. Do that. So something else we can do. We're trying to do our rundowns, our reviews, and then our previews as our main thing, and then hit into an interview or another segment. Today would be Scott Bloomquist's segment. If it's not an interview, maybe we can run down some questions. Maybe we can do one question that somebody gives us is enough time for a whole segment. So submit those to us. If you see me and Myrtle at a race or something, ask us. We'll put it out on the pod. So with that being said, big thanks to all of our sponsors, and I think that's it for the episode. Unless you got anything, Myrtle?
No, I think that does it for me this week. But we'll see y'all next. Well, I guess we'll see you Thursday.
Yep. So we'll be back on Thursday. We're gonna review everything, or preview everything. Today's a review. Yeah, we'll review the Castrol, and we'll have a new pick-em and everything like that, and hopefully line up an interview. Or if somebody wants to submit a segment idea to us, send it our way, and we'll hit on it and touch on it possibly. And check out the Facebook page. Check us out on YouTube. We're on YouTube now. Get the Top Podcast.
Speaking of YouTube, thanks to everybody who watched the first episode. That was a big hit on YouTube.
Yeah, it did really well. So big thanks to that. And sorry about last week how we had a little bit of technical difficulties, but this one will be out on YouTube. I know Merle's been working hard on getting some intros and editing that stuff. I have no clue on editing. Yeah, I'm terrible, so thank God he can do a little bit of it. So I know Merle's been working on that, so be sure to check that out if you don't check us out. If you got time to kind of sit down and just watch the episode, watch it. I know he's going to clip it all together, edit it all up here tonight or tomorrow, whenever he gets a chance, and he does a really good job with that. And I saw the new little intro thing he's going to do, and it looks really cool. So be sure to check that out. Like I said, when we get a chance to go to other races, we're going to have some interviews and stuff like that on YouTube. And we'll share it all on Facebook, but we're going to try to look forward to doing some other content on YouTube besides interviews, like maybe just like if me and Myrtle end up going to a big race or something together, kind of recording how that goes, how clips of the race. I know you can't copyright rules, you can't record so much, but we can try to do like a vlog or something like that.
I mean, we got 2 big races planned on the schedule for this year, for the end of this year, so we look forward to that. And that's all I got for this episode. Yeah,
and like I said, like we can't just go to all these races. We both work on prospective race teams, and so we can't just pop out at these. Like it'd be awesome. We could have gone to the Topless this weekend or stuff like that, but we got other things we got to do and other work responsibilities. So. But we're going to try to hit these bigger ones at the end of the year when a lot of things slow down. So with that, we're going to have a lot of content on YouTube. Even if it's just interviews, there's going to be a lot of them. I know we're going to talk to as many people as we can, whether it be drivers, crew chiefs, blah, 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 blah. Or even some like big name personalities, like if we could catch some like
James Exis.
Yeah, there's people like that. Like catch them. So we'll try to do that, or we're not going to try. We are going to do that. That's coming up in the future. Like I said, thanks to all of our sponsors. We're going to try to get some merch out, and the sponsors get all a free item. So and donations get a free item. So if you want to help us out, get a free merch item, and it goes a long way for us, especially when we've got these races planned at the end of the year. Yeah. That's going to help us out going to those.
We can't just pick a close track. We got to go 10 plus hours away.
Yeah, I think we were planning on Charlotte. Charlotte's a little bit closer. It's
Charlotte's
fine.
Pretty close. That ain't bad.
But we're trying to go to Gateway and check that out, and that's going to be that's a hike.
Put in perspective, we're in Virginia, and that's in St. Louis. It's a
10 plus hour drive. So, but regardless, we're still going to try to do it and try to knock it out. And everything helps. So, with that being said, I think that's it. We'll see you Thursday. Later. Glad I didn't hit record. Put that on the blooper reel.